We know this. It is frustrating and it is confusing because the WHO says one thing and now LA County says another thing. In fact, they're agreeing with the WHO. So does this apply to the Bay Area? Let's bring in our COVID specialists from UCSF, Dr. Monica Gandhi and Dr. Peter Chin-Hong. Doctors, nice to have you back on the program. Dr. Gandhi, let's start with you. My head is spinning here, and I think I speak for a lot of people. What's changed in the last few days, and has your medical opinion changed here?
My medical opinion actually hasn't changed in the sense that the vaccines still completely cover the Delta variant. There was data out of the Public Health Foundation of England that shows that one dose of Pfizer was 94% protective against hospitalization, 88% protective against symptomatic disease, and two doses were 96% protective. And then beyond the clinical data, there's also a lot of data this week, actually, that shows us that the immune response isn't going to evade from vaccines, isn't going to evade immunity for the Delta variant. It has to do with actually really strong B cell data that was published in Nature on Monday, showing that B cells can produce antibodies against new variants, and then as well as T cell data. So this isn't a variant that's evading the immune system. We haven't gotten actually ever to that point yet.
So, Dr. Gandhi, are these other doctors, I'm presuming they're looking at the same data you are, so it's just a difference of opinion here, professionally speaking?
I mean, I don't actually think anyone, including the CDC or Dr. Fauci or anyone, is saying that vaccines, that the Delta variant can break through our vaccine-induced immunity. I actually haven't heard that from anyone. There was a backlog of cases, if you look at the California State Gov's website, that they've been backlogging cases, and they will until July 2nd. So we're going to look like we have artificially higher cases until July 2nd, and it's very clearly marked on their website.
Dr. Peter Chin-Hong, let's bring you in here. So where is this disconnect, or is it a disconnect? Are we going to be following the lead from LA? And if it's really not a big threat to us here in the Bay Area, why go through all of this?
Well, I agree with Dr. Gandhi that my scientific opinion hasn't changed. In fact, there's very robust data showing that the vaccine prevents hospitalizations, 96%. It prevents serious disease. It certainly prevents deaths. And if you look at Israel, their death rate hasn't budged. Their hospitalization rate hasn't budged. But what's moving a lot of this emotion is really numbers of cases and whether or not public health authorities react to that increase in number of cases, outbreaks due to a more transmissible variant, despite not resulting in severe disease, remains to be seen. I think what LA is doing is being anticipatory. They just don't want disruptions to business. It's been open, and cases make people nervous. So I think that's really what's behind this. The WHO is giving a one-size-fits-all recommendation. There are many, many countries in the world where vaccinations are not as penetrated in the community as we have the fortune of having. And, I think in a poorly vaccinated country, you're going to have to make sort of like a simple recommendation. And I think that's where they're coming from.
And Peter, if I can jump in here, we know our vaccination rates are high. What's the public reaction here? Because this is so confusing. Are we going to follow suit to LA?
I think there may be some peer pressure, and I wouldn't be surprised if, as cases bump up, and as Dr. Gandhi says, there's a backlog. If you look at the LA data, there's already an uptick in the test positivity rate. There's an uptick in the R0, the number of people that could be infected by one person. So I think emotionally, people are probably going to follow suit. Again, it's a recommendation, not a mandate. Whether or not it's warranted remains to be seen. I think at the end of the day, if you don't have hospitalizations and don't have deaths, it's good enough. But I think, San Diego County is thinking about it right now. It may be a peer pressure thing. And then at the end of the day, if you see a bunch of cases and we learn to live with non-serious cases like the flu, we don't shut down society because of an uptick in cases. That's where we'll end up being. But I think until then, our road is going to be a little bit tortuous.
Okay, and one bigger question here on a bigger scale, a global scale. Dr. Gandhi, will send it over to you. We are about 3 weeks away from the Olympics beginning in Tokyo. Point blank, should it happen if it was up to you and the medical community?
I actually think it should happen in the sense that we actually have mitigation techniques beyond vaccination that kept people safe beforehand. And all those mitigation techniques, including testing and capacity limits and masks, will be employed. And I think the world needs something right now to cheer them up, because it's been a really hard time. I want to make one point. One thing I just want to mention is that the LA County actually has an 85% seroprevalence rate. There was a seroprevalence study done from over the weekend. And that seroprevalence rate is a combination of natural immunity and vaccine-induced immunity. So I think it is really what Peter said. It is emotion, and I doubt the Bay Area actually will follow suit with an 89% seroprevalent first dose rate in some of our counties.
And just to clarify, so LA County has 85%, we have 89%, so we are better off in theory based on that. And you say that we won't follow LA counties most likely.
I doubt it.
Also, we have a much higher vaccination rate.
We do, yeah. We have a much higher vaccination rate, and then the seroprevalence rate in LA is really that combination, because unfortunately they did have a terrible third surge. So this seroprevalence study was just done over the weekend by the California DPH, and really across the whole state we have these high, between the combination of natural immunity and vaccine-induced immunity, we actually have really high rates of immunity in our population. So we're not going to see a surge like we ever did before.
Yeah, and you've always been pretty blunt with us. So that's the data, but there's the politics. What's going to happen?
I would encourage us to follow the CDC guidance. I think they did it for a reason. I think they did it to uptake vaccination among the unvaccinated. At the time, I was really surprised by the CDC guidance because it was abrupt, but it makes sense for vaccinated people not to have to mask. And I think it upticks vaccination. We had 1 million vaccinations given out in the US this last Sunday because this Delta variant is scaring people. So, we're still in the middle of vaccinating. We're not done yet.
Doctors Chin Hong and Dr. Gandhi, it's fascinating just listening in to both of you speak about this. We appreciate your